Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. The Fallen God Stream was located in the northern part of the Pill region. The terrain of this place was complicated, with the land appearing as though it had been hacked at by a humongous axe, forming numerous crack lines in the process. Each crack was over tens of thousands of feet long. Moreover, these mountain streams were also unfathomably deep. There was a poison fog that permeated it. Countless numbers of lethal poisonous creatures were present. The environment was extremely terrible. It could be considered a dangerous place in the Pill region. Under normal circumstances, there was seldom anyone who would come to this Fallen God Stream, with the exception of those with special requirements. However, due to the matter of the woeful poison lady, this originally desolate Fallen God Stream had swiftly become lively. The people in the Central Plains had quite a deep memory of the woeful poison body. In the past, some people who had possessed the woeful poison body had appeared. However, all of these people ended up causing a disaster in the Central Plains without exception. Wherever the poison body passed, life would cease to exist, everything would become silent. These short few phrases already described just how terrifying the woeful poison body was when it erupted. Perhaps the creation of that kind of disaster was not the original intent of those who possessed the woeful poison body. However, when the woeful poison body erupted, it would bite the owner and take control of the body, turning it into a moving poison fog machine. In the face of such potent poison, even some elite dozones would end up with quite a miserable fate if they inhaled too much of it into their bodies. Back then, each woeful poison body eruption would cause the Central Plains to lose a large number of elite dozones. This had repeated itself a couple of times, causing the terrible reputation of the woeful poison body to be deeply imprinted into the hearts of everyone in the Central Plains. It was also because of the fear of this woeful poison body that many factions acted the moment they heard a woeful poison body had appeared. They wanted to destroy this woeful poison body before it could completely erupt. The Ice River Valley was the strongest among these factions. Although quite a number of people knew that they wanted to obtain the woeful poison body, no one stopped them due to the great strength that they possessed. Moreover, after the little fairy doctor had killed quite a number of people from the Ice River Valley, the grudge between both parties worsened. This Ice River Valley told the outside world that they wanted to kill her. However, if she were to really land in their hands, it was likely that outsiders would have difficulty knowing just what they would do. Nevertheless, this Pill region, that had been calm for a long time, had turned into an uproar because of this woeful poison body. Currently, innumerable numbers of people had surged to the Fallen God Valley with the intention of finding the woeful poison lady within it. Most of these people were attracted by the sky-high price of the Ice River Valley. Of course, there were also some of them who had thoughts of destroying the woeful poison body. Regardless of what kind of thoughts these people had, the current Fallen God Valley had undoubtedly turned into a lively place in the Pill region. The Fallen God Stream was not very far from Yi City. With Xiao Yan's speed, he only spent a day or so before reaching this lively area, despite bringing Xinlan along. Xiao Yan and Xinlan slowly landed on a towering mountain top. His gaze looked into the distance. There was a spacious plain covered with rock fragments in front of him. Countless numbers of dark black lines were present in the plains. These cracks were just like savage mouths of demons that had surfaced from beneath the ground. After which, they were extended into the distance. This kind of distant black color caused one's heart to feel cold. Based on the information that I have obtained, the ones leading the search this time around are two elders from the Ice River Valley, Bing Yuan and Bing Fu. They were the ones who had exchanged blows with little fairy Dr. Jie. However, I think that there should be other experts besides the two of them. I guess that there are at least 4 elite dozones, Xinlan mused for a moment before saying, 4 dozones, huh? Xiao Yang nodded. It seemed that the Ice River Valley did not deploy an ultimate dozone class expert. However, it made sense if he thought about it. With the current strength of the little fairy doctor, these Ice River Valley's elders were sufficient to capture her. Can you find the location of the little fairy doctor after we enter the Fallen God Stream? Xiao Yang asked. Yes. Xinlan nodded. Xiao Yan sighed in relief when he heard this. He said, "In that case, let's enter the fallen god stream and find the little fairy doctor first." Xiao Yan extended his hand and grabbed Xin Lan's waist after saying these words. His body moved and rushed down from the mountain top. Within a couple of flashes, he landed outside of the fallen god stream. The entrance to the fallen god stream was between two towering black-colored rocks that seemed to reach to the sky. There was a path that was a couple of 100 feet wide at that spot. However, there was currently quite a number of white-cloaked figures currently present around this entrance. Clearly, they should be people belonging to the Ice River Valley. Let's go. Xiao Yan landed on the ground and released Xin Lan. After which, he walked to the entrance. Xin Lan hurriedly followed behind him. There were nearly 100 Ice River Valley disciples guarding the two enormous rocks of the entrance. Numerous sharp eagle-like eyes repeatedly swept over the groups of people in the road below. Their leader was a white-clothed, old man seated with his legs crossed. A cold air continuously radiated out of his body, causing the nearby temperature to drop. "Follow me." Xin Lan carefully looked around her. After which, she took out a jade bottle from her storage ring. She opened it and a small, dark black thing fled from it. This thing appeared somewhat similar to a mouse, but its back had a pair of thin wings. A buzzing sound appeared when they were flapped. This is a poison-seeking mouse. However, it has already been dead for a long time. After the little fairy doctor's special refinement, it is able to lead us to her. Xin Lan released the small black mouse. It made a circle in the air before it suddenly flew quickly toward the western area of the fallen god stream. "Quick, follow it," Xin Lan hurriedly said after seeing this. After which, Xiao Yang swiftly grabbed her waist. His body moved, transforming into a black figure that easily followed behind the small, black mouse. Poison objects filled the interior of the fallen god stream. However, Xiao Yang did not face the slightest obstruction. He came to a sudden understanding of this strange scene after some uncertainty. It was likely due to the heavenly flame within his body. This kind of extremely hot object restrained dark, cold poison substances. With Xiao Yang's speed and the fact that they were not obstructed in any way, the two of them gradually entered deep into the fallen god stream after a short half an hour. At this moment, the poison fog around them had become much denser. Fortunately, they had the heavenly flame isolating them. Xiao Yang and Xin Lan did not suffer from the corrosive force as a result. Their full-speed advancement continued a while before the small, black mouse in front of them suddenly came to a stop. Xiao Yang also sensed this abruptly from behind. He grabbed the mouse, hugged Xin Lan, and fled to the back of an enormous stone. A 1,000-foot large mountain stream appeared in front of Xiao Yang and Xin Lan. A poison fog lingered over the mountain stream. However, there were over a dozen white-colored figures standing around this mountain stream at the moment. One of the white figures remained suspended in the air. All of them were facing the wall of the mountain stream where a cave stood. "Woeful poison lady, obediently return to the Ice River Valley with the old me. You might still have a chance to live if you do so." Xiao Yang's expression changed. His eyes followed the voice of the old man and looked to the cave. His eyes suddenly shrank. He could see a white-colored figure standing elegantly at that spot. Her grayish-purple eyes were filled with cold killing intent. The little fairy doctor. Xiao Yang's tightened heart gradually relaxed as he looked at the white-colored figure in the cave. "It's good that she's all right." Xiao Yang muttered softly to himself within his heart. His eyes swiftly landed on the old man in the air above the mountain stream. The old man's head was full of white hair. His clothes were white with some snowflower-like lines over them. His entire being emitted a chillness from the inside out. Xiao Yang's eyes paused on that old man. His eyes narrowed. 6-star Do Zone. Xiao Yang mused for a moment before turning his gaze away. At this moment, there were dozens of white-clothed figures standing around the mountain stream. Clearly, they were the disciples from the Ice River Valley. His gaze took one look around before they finally paused on a huge protruding rock on the edge of the mountain stream. There were two white-clothed old men standing with their hands behind them at that spot. One of them possessed a strength similar to the person in the air, who had reached the 6-star Do Zone level. The one behind might be inferior to these two, but his strength had reached that of a 2-star Do Zone. There are 3 elite Do Zones. Moreover, there are dozens of elite Ice River Valley disciples. This Ice River Valley is really willing to take out this much strength. Xiao Yan softly muttered to himself while a chill flashed across his dark black eyes. Big brother Xiao Yan, those two are the elders of the Ice River Valley, Bing Yuan and Bing Fu. They are both very strong. Be careful. Xinlan's eyes also swept around the place once. After which, her expression became tense as she spoke. Xiao Yang slightly nodded. This lineup might be quite great, but it did not threaten the current him. The Earth Demon Puppet was able to block a 6-star dozone at this moment. Moreover, he was in possession of the Skyfire 3 Mysterious Flame and Tian Huazunja in his ring. Woeful Poison Lady, you will not be able to escape. You have been struck with the Ice Sun Force. Unless you have an antidote from my Ice River Valley, the remnant mysterious ice chi in your body will freeze all of your life force within a month's time. The old man in the air glanced indifferently at the little fairy doctor in the cave before speaking. Following me back to the Ice River Valley is your only chance of survival. The little fairy doctor's greyish-purple eyes, which were void of emotion, glanced at the old man from the entrance of the cave. A ridicule surfaced on her pale face as a cool voice resounded over the mountain stream with a chill within it. Before my life force is frozen, I will destroy this body of mine and will not leave anything for your Ice River Valley. A cold glint immediately flashed across the eyes of the old man in the air when he heard these words. He slowly said, "You are the one who has cut off your only chance of survival." He did not delay any longer after saying these words. A chilling aura gradually surged from his body. Since you don't like to take a path that allows you to live, the old me shall personally capture you and bring you back to the Ice River Valley. The space in front of the old man became distorted after his final words sounded. Immediately a chilling aura lingered and densely packed ice bricks surfaced in the air. Even if I die, I must definitely not land in their hands. A dense, greyish-purple dough chi surged out of the little fairy doctor's body. After which, it covered the entrance of the cave. The ice bricks were swiftly eroded when they shot over. However, the energy barrier that was formed from the greyish-purple dough chi swiftly paled under the continuous attack of the ice bricks. Crack! Crack! The remaining ice bricks shot against the mountain walls surrounding the cave. Layer after layer of thick ice began to spread out with a cracking sound. Under this chilly air, even the surrounding poison fog had become much thinner. The little fairy doctor's expression changed slightly as she sensed the swiftly surging chilly air around. This chilly air was extremely strange. If it managed to enter one's body, it would be extremely troublesome to deal with. Back then, she had accidentally allowed this chilly air to enter her body, causing her do chi to show signs of sluggishness. It was due to this that the so-called Ice Sun Force from Bing Yuan and Bing Fu managed to seriously injure and force her back. I cannot stay in this place too long. The little fairy doctor became decisive when this thought flashed through her heart. Her body transformed into a lightning flash and shot out of the cave. She headed to the deep regions of the mountain stream ice ceiling formation. The little fairy doctor had just charged out of the cave when dozens of cold cries sounded simultaneously. Immediately, cold air surged into the sky. One could see that the space within the mountain stream suddenly stilled. After which, it formed a thick, hard ice with a cracking sound. In the blink of an eye, it formed a hundreds-foot large ice cabinet in this mountain stream. The little fairy doctor and Bing Yuan were sealed within it. The people inside could no longer see the outside, but those outside were able to see every action of those inside who still wished to flee. A cold smile involuntarily surfaced on Bing Yuan's face when he saw her. His body moved and appeared behind the little fairy doctor in the blink of an eye. Cold air lingered over his fist before he viciously threw it out. The little fairy doctor instantly turned around when she sensed the shocking cold air that had appeared behind her. Greyish-purple do chi swiftly rose on her hand before she swung it out. Bang! The fist and palm made contact, bringing about a shock wave that formed a ring and swept around them. Bing Yuan hurriedly took 2 steps back under the recoil of this air wave. The little fairy doctor, on the other hand, was sent flying backwards. Currently, she was suffering from serious injuries and her fighting strength was greatly reduced. It was impossible for her to be a match for a 6-star dozone. The little fairy doctor stabilized her body. Her originally pale expression involuntarily became paler. A bitterness appeared on her face as her gaze swept over the airtight ice wall around her. It seemed that she really had nowhere to flee to today. Follow the old me back to Ice River Valley and you will still be able to live. If you continue being stubborn, do not blame the old me for being vicious. Bing Yuan's feet stepped on the empty air and slowly walked toward the little fairy doctor. His tone still remained indifferent. A coldness gradually rose in the little fairy doctor's grayish-purple eyes as she looked at Bing Yuan slowly walking over. Her hand swiftly formed a strange seal. At this point, she could only undo the seal of the woeful poison body. Although this would greatly bring forward the time when the poison body would erupt, it was at least better than landing in the hands of this old fellow now. Although the little fairy doctor had barely managed to dodge that torrent-like attack of Bing Yuan, her intention of undoing the seal was also interrupted. The treacherous situation continued and she was in an extremely risky position. Bang! Another cold wind struck out and the little fairy doctor, who had nowhere to flee, could only once again raise her palm and collide head-on with Bing Yuan. A mouthful of fresh blood was spat out and the little fairy doctor's lovely body was sent flying backwards. Bing Yuan's expression was cold and indifferent. A chilly air was spat out of her mouth and froze the fresh crimson blood just as it was about to reach the ground. Your woeful poison body has yet to truly reach its peak. Otherwise, just the old me would not be able to do anything against you. Unfortunately, Bing Yuan looked at the little fairy doctor who was wiping away the trace of blood from the corner of her mouth. He let out a faint smile, but the chillness in his eyes was not reduced as a result. Bing Yuan had already lost his patience to speak. His body flashed and he once again rushed toward the little fairy doctor. This time around, some killing intent had gradually surged in his eyes. As long as the woeful poison body was still preserved, it did not matter whether the little fairy doctor lived. The little fairy doctor appeared to be aware that a killing intent had rose in Bing Yuan's heart when she saw the savage smile that had surfaced on his face. Immediately, she hurriedly maneuvered the little remaining do chi within her body in preparation for the last struggle. Crack! When little fairy doctor had just made up her mind, the enormous ice walls around her suddenly emitted a cracking sound. Immediately, numerous cracks spread out. The ice wall eventually burst apart with a boom sound. The ice walls blasting apart also surprised Bing Yuan. Before he could recover, the rushing sound of wind was suddenly transmitted from above the mountain stream. A figure violently shot toward him. This sudden attack did not cause Bing Yuan to panic. A few waves of ice-cold do chi surged out of his hand. After which, it collided with the figure that had shot over. However, the noise that was created was wave after wave of sharp miserable cries. Bing Yuan focused his eyes and his expression turned dark and solemn. He discovered that the ones being thrown over like weapons were the disciples of the Ice River Valley. Brat, for daring to intervene in this big matter of our Ice River Valley, I will definitely chase you until the ends of Earth. A couple of furious roars were transmitted from the mountain stream during the time that Bing Yuan's expression turned gloomy. His eyes twitched as he suddenly raised his head, only to discover that a young man was standing with a smile on the edge of the mountain stream. There were still 2 Ice River Valley disciples in his hands. Clearly, he was the one who had shot these people forward. The people from the Ice River Valley are indeed shameless. So many of you are attacking an injured, weak lady. Not only did you throw aside your face, but you also threw away the flesh beneath it. The young man laughed. After which, his eyes slid in another direction. The white-clothed lady at that spot revealed a pale, pretty face that was filled with disbelief due to his sudden appearance. Xiao Yan looked at the face that was so heartbreakingly pale. A gentleness surfaced in his eyes as his soft, warm voice slowly drifted down. Sorry, I've arrived late. Xiao Yan, the little fairy doctor, was startled as she looked at the young man standing beside the mountain stream. A beautiful smile slowly surfaced on her pale, pretty face. It was the joyous, beautiful smile of someone finding great hope while one was in despair. Bing Yuan's eyes stared at Xiao Yan in a dark and dense manner. His ice-cold voice appeared as though it had risen from hell. Brat, you dare to meddle in the affairs of my Ice River Valley? After scanning the area with his eyes earlier, Bing Yuan had discovered that the dozens of elite Ice River Valley disciples around the mountain stream had been reduced by half. A dense bloody scent spread over the place. Clearly, these missing disciples had already perished to the hands of this person. This result caused an incomparable fury and killing intent to surge in his heart. His eyes were just like that of a ferocious fierce wolf as they stared at Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan merely smiled as he sensed the savage expression in Bing Yuan's eyes. He casually said, "The people from the Ice River Valley are all really bad apples. A one-star dozone dares to act this insolent in front of me. The young people these days are really becoming more and more arrogant." Bing Yuan laughed out loud from extreme anger when he heard Xiao Yan's words. His voice was filled with a dense killing intent. "The old me doesn't care about your background. However, I must inform you that this fallen god stream will be your burial ground. Bing Fu, I'll leave him to you. Do not hold back. Capture him first and break his limbs." Bing Yuan's eyes turned to the other side of the mountain valley. There was a white-clothed old man located at that spot. His expression was also staring at Xiao Yan in a dark, solemn manner. Xiao Yan had acted too quickly earlier and had exceeded everyone's expectations. Within a short half a minute, nearly 20 Ice River Valley's disciples had fallen to his hands. All of this had progressed in front of him as though he had been slapped in the face, causing him to feel a fiery hot pain. "Relax, I will let him understand what it means to suffer a fate worse than death. At the same time, I will let him know that rushing forward into something unrelated to him will not lead to anything good." That white-clothed, old man called Bing Fu nodded. His old face revealed a cold, savage smile. The little fairy doctor swiftly recovered when Bing Yuan was conversing with Bing Fu. Her pretty eyes swept around her and the joy that had just surfaced immediately scattered. Even though Xiao Yan had hurried over, it would also be difficult for him to rescue her in this kind of situation. Instead, he would end up being implicated. After all, the Ice River Valley had a total of 3 dozones in this place. With Xiao Yan's strength, attempting to successfully flee with her was, "Xiao Yan, leave. I have my own means of escaping. I will think of ways to find you after I escape." The little fairy doctor suddenly cried out to Xiao Yan after her pretty eyes swiftly flashed. Xiao Yan was startled when he heard this. He smiled as his gaze slid to the little fairy doctor and said, "Do you think I will believe you? You can rest assured. Since I dared to come to this place, I naturally have the confidence to rescue you." The little fairy doctor felt her tense heart relax a little for some unknown reason after seeing the smile on Xiao Yan's face. She understood Xiao Yan quite well. He had seldom done anything that he was not confident in. It was perhaps as he had said. His heart should have his own plans. The old me really wishes to know just where your confidence comes from. The sharp ice wheel rotated at high speed in Bing Yuan's hands. A denseness was slowly lifted on the corner of his mouth. He flicked his finger and one could hear a swoosh sound. The fast-spinning ice wheel penetrated through the air as it appeared in front of the little fairy doctor in a flash. After which, it carried a stern killing intent as it rushed toward her long neck. The icy cold wind, that had arrived suddenly, caused the little fairy doctor's expression to change. Her body moved and quickly hurried back. The speed of the ice wheel was unexpectedly quick as it was swiftly magnified in front of her eyes. Clang! The ice wheel cut through the sky. The moment it was about to catch up to the little fairy doctor, a silver glow strangely appeared in front of her. The silver glow flickered and a silver-colored arm and fist swung out. It sent the ice wheel flying. This sudden unexpected change caused Bing Yuan's expression to alter. His face revealed a shocked expression as he looked at the silver figure in front of the little fairy doctor, especially when he saw its empty eyes. He narrowed his eyes and exclaimed, "A puppet?" The silver-colored human figure that had suddenly appeared had naturally attracted the attention of the others. Bing Fu's expression also sank. Although he was unable to detect the puppet's aura, he could still sense a danger emanating from it. "You are already so old. It seems that all these years have grown on your skin, thick skin. You actually used such a vicious blow against a wounded, weak lady." Xiao Yan laughed from the edge of the mountain stream. However, his laughter contained an ice-cold killing intent. His fingers slowly pointed at Bing Yuan. "Kill him." The earth demon puppet, who was in front of the little fairy doctor, immediately rushed out like a cannonball when Xiao Yan's voice sounded. It appeared in front of Bing Yuan in a flash. Its fist ruthlessly smashed toward his chest without any fanciful moves. This swift and fierce attack by the Earth Demon puppet caused Bing Yuan's expression to change. He threw a palm out as a reflex action, stirring a cold air that rose from all directions as he did so. Bang! The fist and palm made contact, but the Earth Demon puppet did not move even a little. On the other hand, Bing Yuan's throat let out a groan as he took a couple of quick steps back through the empty air. A shock finally surged into his eyes. With his strength, he was unable to obtain the upper hand in a head-on clash with this mysterious puppet. Bing Fu, kill that brat. He is controlling the puppet. Bing Yuan stabilized his body before he let out a roar. His face was furiously green when he did so. What an arrogant tone. Bing He, you will lead the others to capture the woeful poison lady. Leave this person to me. Bing Fu furiously laughed out loud. He clenched his hand, and a cold air surged from it. A long spear that was formed from ice appeared in his hand. The body of the spear shook and formed numerous after-images. After letting out a furious laugh, Bing Fu's body moved, transforming into a white figure that shot toward Xiao Yan in a lightning-like manner. The long spear cut through the air, bringing with it an ear-piercing sound. The last white-clothed, old man from the Ice River Valley nodded after hearing Bing He's cry. He quickly waved his hand and led dozens of figures toward the little fairy doctor behind Xiao Yan with a swoosh sound. This place turned extremely cold in an instant. The little fairy doctor's face involuntarily became tense when she saw Bing Fu attacking. The do chi in her body swiftly surged. There is indeed no other puppet. However, there is a special spiritual body. Xiao Yang smiled as he looked at the cold face of Bing Fu. His finger gently rubbed the white-colored ring on his finger. An illusionary spiritual body slowly appeared and turned into the shape of an elderly man. Bing Fu, who was charging forward, suddenly halted when the spiritual body appeared. His eyes looked at the spiritual body with shock. Part 1 end here.